From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
Hey there, SportsLine on your television. Steve Layman here with you. Glad you are here with us on News Channel 5 Plus. We got a fun show coming up for you, I think, tonight. We're going to talk to Pekka Rinne, the sit-down interview we did with him last week, setting up his jersey retirement, which was such a special night at Bridgestone Arena. We're also going to dive into some Titans topics as well. The offseason, it is officially here. The NFL Combine now underway up in Indianapolis, and then free agency stuff all coming your way next week. So we'll hear from Mike Vrabel, John Robinson over the next couple of days, and we'll get a lot more clarity from this. But first, we're going to hear from some players and their thoughts of the end of this season for the Titans and where certain guys fit in and what they're thinking moving into the offseason. But tonight we begin with Pekka Rinne, the only Predator ever now to have his jersey retired and hoisted into the rafters at Bridgestone Arena. Quite the deserving honor. It was a no-brainer. He played every single year of his 15 seasons with the Nashville Predators. He became essentially the masked face of the franchise, though people recognize him when that mask comes off as well, because the smile is almost always 100 watt, and he's willing to give time in the community. He was absolutely beloved here in his time, and he was the individually most important factor of taking the Preds from just a simple expansion team that was a part of the NHL, but not really much of a factor in anything, to being a guy that made the Predators a contender. They've gone to 7 consecutive playoffs, and that coincides with the end of Pekka Rinne's magnificent career. And he got them to the playoffs before that. He helped them win all the series that they've ever won in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Pekka Rinne is responsible for that. He's won 369 career games. That's obviously the most for a Predators goaltender. It's also the most of any Finnish goaltender in the history of the league. He's got 60 shutouts. He had a magical ending with his 60th shutout last year in the final game of the regular season, a 5-0 win over Carolina, in which he stopped all 30 shots he faced and then had a movie-like moment taking a victory lap around the ice. Pekka Rinne has produced many memorable moments, some spectacular saves, some great moments in the playoffs, some frustrating moments at time for him and the fan base as well. But he is ultimately going to go down as the most important Predator of the first 2 decades plus of this franchise. And that is why it only made sense for the Preds to bestow the highest honor a franchise can give a player, and that is to retire his uniform and put his jersey up in the rafters. That's what happened last Thursday night against the Dallas Stars, and it was a special night because they celebrated him with the current team, they celebrated him with past players, and they recognized his true impact on the team, not just within the crease as a goaltender, but as a leader and as a man in the community as well. And it was more than just Thursday night, too. Pekka came back into town a week ago Saturday. He was around in the community, did multiple events with the Predators. They had a luncheon honoring him for his work with Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital and the 365 Fund that he started with former Predator Shea Weber. Just remarkable what Pekka Rinne did in this community on and off the ice during his time with the Nashville Predators. And I had the honor to hang out with him on a couple of occasions last week at some of these events and to sit Pekka down to get his thoughts on what it's like to be retired now, life at home with his 14-month-old son Paulus, coming back to Nashville, and of course the highest honor you can have as a player, having his jersey number retired here with the Nashville Predators. And here was my sit down with Pekka Rinne. Well, Pekka, first off, what have you been up to since we saw you last summer?
Pretty much that life. I mean, a huge difference, obviously, you know, going away from hockey and retiring and you know, turning the page. But it's been great. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with my family, get to spend more time with my parents, my 2 sisters, and my friends, and you know, still staying active and you trying to stick to the routines that I had during my playing career. But obviously, big change in life.
Paul, this is 14 months now. You're back home in Finland mostly. What's it been like being basically a full-time dad and watching hockey from afar?
Oh, it's been hard because, obviously, you're busy during the day with Paulus and then all the games, because the time changes like 8 hours. So games are middle of the night. And so I'm obviously, I've only seen a handful of games live, to be honest with you. And then I always, I first thing in the morning, I watch the highlights. I watch UC's clips and yeah, but for sure, it's now that I'm watching the games through the eyes of as a fan. Basically, it's I get nervous about the games, and it does feel different.
It felt like you wrestled with the retirement decision for a while. How difficult was the decision, and UC's emergence as a really good goaltender in this league, and your relationship with him? Did that make it easier to walk away? Did it make it harder to walk away? What was
No, for sure it made it easier. I think it was something that I already when I signed my last 2 years. I think that was around that time. I was like, okay, after these 2 years, I think that's it. And but then once that time came, was around the corner, it wasn't easy. It wasn't that easy. It wasn't like, okay, now I'm that's it. I'm gonna retire. It was hard. I mean, it's hockey is my passion. It's everything I've ever known. I mean, that every year that group of guys is like your second family, and so I think it's scary too. To make that decision. The jump to unknown. You don't know what to expect. How you're gonna feel. Are you gonna miss the game? Are you gonna be a mess? After a few months, so it involves so many emotions. But I think, like you mentioned, Juicy's kind of the way he took over this team and took over the crease. I think all those things made it easier for me. And but yeah, I mean, it doesn't make it easy though.
Well, it was an incredible career here.
Thank you.
Now your number 35 goes into the rafters here at Bridgestone Arena. Has that sunk in yet?
No. I mean, you say that, it sounds unbelievable. It sounds unreal, pretty surreal. I mean, obviously, feel extremely honored, humbled at the same time, and having this opportunity. I mean, being the first player to have this honor in our organization, it's a pretty wild feeling.
Amongst your numerous awards, you're the all-time winningest goaltender of Finnish descent. Kyle Granlund told us the other day he feels like half of Finland is coming over this week for this honor. Do you get the sense of how big this is back at home, and what does it mean to you to represent them?
I mean, it means a lot to me. But yeah, I mean, weeks leading up to this, I've started to notice people reaching out to me, and either people are traveling here, or people are watching it back home, or they just want to reach out or congratulate or share their memories from my playing career. I really appreciate it. So I think I now understand it better, that it's how much it means to some people and how much it means to me. It's amazing. It's there's going to be probably close to 100 people from Finland in here, and I don't know. Hopefully they're loud. Hopefully they yell something in Finnish.
The last time we saw you on the ice here, you were taking a victory lap after a 30-save shutout against Carolina in the regular season finale. Yeah. Short of winning the Stanley Cup, could you have scripted any better of an ending? No. That's like an ending to a movie. I mean, what a perfect timing. I think it honestly made it easier for me to make my decision to retire from hockey, and just to have
have that opportunity on the ice and have that memory, it's pretty special.
That'll be the lasting memory for Preds fans, but of course there are so many great memories over 15 years. Is there one moment or one game that stands out to you?
I think there's a bunch of memories, but I mean, in a bigger picture, I think that 2017, the whole playoff run, the Stanley Cup Finals, I think that was just crazy. That was wild. It was. I think that obviously the first, losing the finals, is a huge disappointment. But I think it didn't take too long that I was able to realize right away that this is. At the time, it was the biggest thing in my career, and now I look back and it's still the biggest. That's the number one memory from my career, absolutely. Even though we didn't win it.
Great player on the ice, but you also spent countless hours, dollars, and resources in the community. You're very involved with Best Buddies, and of course Monroe Carroll. I see the smile on your face already. Yeah. 15 seasons here. What are you most proud of, Pekka?
I'm proud of my connection to this city, this organization. I think it's the relationship I have with the community and our fans. It means so much to me, and I think it's very special. Obviously, my work with a few of the charities you mentioned also very dear to me, and so. But the biggest thing is I feel grateful. I was fortunate to, because you need luck along the way too. You need. I'm thankful for David Poyle. He trusted me. He was committed to me for such a long time, and he made it possible for me to make a difference. And so I think that's the feeling I have. I'm grateful. I'm very thankful to so many people, and but yeah, it does mean a lot to me, the relationship that I have with these communities and the fans in Nashville.
Well, that legacy lasts forever, and the number 35 will hang forever as well. Years from now, when people look up there and see that number, how do you hope they remember you? I want people, hopefully, obviously, at least some years from now, they'll remember me from the ice, and hopefully they remember me as a, guy who had a, high work ethic and was a team first guy. But then as a person, I hope people remember me as just a common person. I mean, I feel like I get along with everybody. I try to respect everybody who they are, and so I think hopefully they remember my values, my mentality on the ice. I think those are the things. Last thing, Pekka. When you were growing up skating on those ponds in Finland, could you have ever imagined where this hockey life would take you up to that?
Never. I've achieved more than I ever dreamed of. I'm so grateful for everything that happened to me over my career. Obviously, but still, I want to tell all the kids to dream big. I mean, you can always turn your life around. You can always achieve your goals, and I think that happened to me. I think my journey was a little bit different too. I mean, a lot of good things happened to me when I was already a little bit older, and it started, like the positive cycle started when I got drafted by Nashville, and then things slowly built up from there. And but yeah, I feel like it's never too late, and that was the time I started dreaming about playing in NHL. But no, I could have never dreamed any of this growing up when I was a young kid in Finland.
Well, it's been a dream for us to cover you, Pekka. Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much.
Pekka Rinne, an absolutely classy guy. It was so great to see a record crowd at Bridgestone Arena on Thursday night. It was great to see the former players come back. The nice words Roman Josi had to say about him. The entire franchise really going above and beyond to make that night special. And you got the sense there just how important this was to him, how much it meant to him to be the first Predator to be honored in this way, to have the love and support of the community, to have the love and support of so many people back in Finland. He is an all-time great player, an all-time great humanitarian. And let me tell you, he's an even better person. You think you know him, you think you've seen it all from him on the ice, you think you know his accolades off the ice. Pekka Rinne is even better than you know. And it was just so cool to be able to be around him just a little bit last week, to see him walk through this and enjoy the moment and enjoy the spotlight, because he was such a team guy and a community guy throughout his career. Well, that night, last week really, was about Pekka. And for the first time, he was able to sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor in a remarkable career. And that was really cool to see. So we appreciate you sticking with us. We appreciate Pekka sitting down with us as well to talk about it all. We'll come back, and when we do, we'll switch gears and talk some Tennessee Titans. The offseason specifically focused on the offensive line next. Probably some moves coming. But what will those moves be? What will they mean? We'll get to that when we continue on here on SportsLine on News Channel 5 Plus.